Friends, I am CA Vipin Bohra and I'll be taking care of the few of the chapters of cost and management accounting. So do pay attention. Whatever the queries you have, whatever the doubts you have, whatever you want to speak to me, you can post your queries freely. I'll be addressing query of each and every student. So all my lectures will be mostly concept based. I'll be discussing few practical problems also in every chapter. But what I want is that each and every student of mine should be thorough with the concept. So whatever running in your mind, whatever the doubts, whatever the queries, speak to me directly. So let's start with this chapter cost sheet. My first chapter. When talking about this chapter, it's a very easy chapter. Examiner do ask questions sometimes on cost sheet. So let's start with this chapter cost sheet. Good morning, everyone. Surendra, you can post me personally. Whatever the queries you have, you can post me personally. So when talking about this chapter cost sheet, this is relating to cost calculation. So cost sheet is a statement. What is cost sheet? Cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the costs that are related to manufacture a product. एक प्रोडक्ट बनाने के लिए जो भी खर्च होने वाला है उसको एक सिस्टमैटिकली हम लोग स्टेटमेंट फॉर्म स्टेटमेंट इज कॉल्ड एज कॉस्ट शीट. So when talking about cost sheet, what is cost sheet? Cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the costs that are to be incurred to manufacture a product. So cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the costs that are to be incurred to manufacture a product. Now, when talking about the cost can be classified in two parts: direct cost and indirect cost. For the students who have joined bit late, we have started with cost sheet. When talking about what is cost sheet एक statement है wherein we systematically record all the cost. जो भी एक प्रोडक्ट बनाने में कॉस्ट लगने वाली है उसको हम लोग सिस्टमैटिकली रिकॉर्ड करते हैं एक स्टेटमेंट में. दैट स्टेटमेंट इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज कॉस्ट शीट. नाउ व्हेन टॉकिंग अबाउट cost can be classified in two parts: direct cost, indirect cost. Can anyone tell me what is direct cost and indirect cost? I just want you guys to interact with me. Whatever running in your mind, you can speak to me. So can anyone tell me what is direct or indirect cost? You can just post whatever, you want to. Okay. So Divya, can you please unmute? Divya, you can unmute. Okay, so I'm getting answers. So direct means directly attributable to a product. Indirect means not to be measured directly. Direct cost can be directly incurred. Direct cost is measurable. Direct is equals to is related directly to the principal business. Indirect helps to run a business. Anyone else with any opinion? I've got answers from Bala Murugan, Mr. Kabira, Meenu. I think you're the same Meenu who was there in the last session. Akhila, Diksha can be directly incurred. Navneet Maurya, Gaurav Beswal.
Hello.
Yeah. Who's there on?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, Divya. Good morning.
Sir, direct cost means which can be measured easily in numbers, and indirect cost which cannot be measured easily. We have to take average of it, like rent or electricity used. We cannot measure like how many electricity is used for preparing a product, so we take it average.
Okay, no worries. That's perfect. That's okay. Nisha. Yes, Nisha. Tell me. Thank you so much, Meenu.
So direct cost that is related to manufacturing and production of goods, like
Okay.
direct material, direct labor, direct expenses that we relate to manufacturing process. Indirect cost that is related to office and administration.
Okay. So you were regular in all the sessions of as conducted by ICAI of cost sheet. Sorry, of costing.
No, sir. First time today I am attending.
So it's your first class.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no worries. That's okay. So now let me give you a brief about what is direct cost and indirect cost. When talking about direct cost, the cost that is directly attributable in manufacturing a product is direct cost. What is direct cost? Don't worry, I'll explain you with the help of examples also. The cost that is directly attributable in manufacturing a product is direct cost. The cost that is directly attributable in manufacturing a product is direct cost. When talking about indirect cost, the cost that play a supporting role in manufacturing a product. What is indirect cost? The cost that play a supporting role in is indirect cost. So cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the costs that are related to manufacture a product. When talking about cost can be classified in two parts, direct and indirect cost. Direct cost, the cost that is directly attributable in manufacturing a product is direct cost. Indirect cost, the cost that play a supporting role in manufacturing a product is indirect cost. Now, when talking about what all is covered in direct cost, it covers direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. When talking about indirect cost, it covers indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. Now, the question is what is the difference between direct and indirect material? direct and indirect labor, and direct and indirect expenses. So, can anyone tell me what is the difference between direct and indirect material? I just want to test your knowledge because many chapters are already over. That is material, labor, overheads, then basics. So, I hope you must be aware about what is the difference between direct and indirect material. You can just message me, Diksha and Divya. So can you give me few examples? What is the difference between direct material and indirect material? Waiting for your answers. The more you will interact, the better you will be with the concept. So whatever running in your mind, speak up. Diksha, do write few examples also. Okay, so Diksha just mentioned few example. Gaurav, answer is incorrect. Regan, I just want few examples. Navneet, yes, it is correct. Just write few examples, Divya, Meenu. I'm waiting for few examples. So Regan, it is correct. Very good, Josh Agrawal, it is correct. Mithila, you can post your answers via our chat. Seems like Diksha, yes, it is correct. Very good. Good morning, Anil. I think you were there in my last session. Very good, everyone. Nisha Pal, please recheck your answer. It is incorrect. Meenu Kumari, it is incorrect. So let me give you let me discuss this concept with the help of a very simple example. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of this pen. I repeat again, just stop posting the answers. Very good. Very good, everyone. Appreciate your efforts. So now see, do pay attention, guys. Let's say I'm the manufacturer of this pen. Now this pen is made up of what? Plastic and ink. What this pen is made up of? Plastic and ink. Without this, the pen can't be manufactured. These are the major ingredients to manufacture this pen. These are the major contents or material that are used to manufacture a pen. What it is? Plastic and ink. So this plastic and ink is what? My direct material. This plastic and ink is what? My direct material. Now let's say these pens are manufactured on machines. For the smooth functioning of machines, we need what? Oil and grease. For these, see, these pens are manufactured in machines. Now, for the smooth functioning of machine, we need some sort of oil, grease, or lubricating oil. This oil, grease, or lubricating oil is nowhere present in the final product. But for the smooth manufacturing process of pen, we do need this oil, lubricating oil, and grease. So here, in this pen, plastic and ink is my direct material, and oil, lubricating oil, grease, this is what? Indirect material. They play a supporting role. Another example, let's say I'm into business of cakes and confectionaries. So let's say I'm manufacturing cakes. I have a big brand and I do manufacture cakes. Now these cakes are made up of what? Flour, cream, milk, then we can say chocolate. So these are the major ingredients to manufacture this cake. So these ingredients, basically flour, egg, milk, cream, all these are what we call as direct material. Now, these cakes basically my chef manufactures. Now, to maintain the hygiene standards, my chef uses hand gloves, aprons, we can say chef caps. This apron, hand gloves, chef caps are nowhere present in the final product, that is my cake. So Again, these materials are used to maintain the hygiene standard. So these material, basically the chef caps, aprons, hand gloves are what? My indirect material in manufacturing a cake. And flour, eggs, whipped cream, and chocolate, what we are using to manufacture a cake, is what we call as direct material. Another example, let's say I'm the manufacturer of shirt. This shirt is made up of what? Fabric. So fabric is what? My direct material. Again, these shirts are stitched in machine, and again, for the smooth functioning of machine, we do need some sort of grease, lubricating oil, etc. So this is what we call as indirect material. So वो material जो direct ingredient है एक product बनाने में, we call it as direct material. Now उस product बनाने में there are other materials are also required, and these other materials that are required but they are not anywhere present in the final product, we call it as indirect material. I hope this part is clear to all. Anyone having any doubts in direct and indirect material? Another example, let's say I'm the manufacturer of wooden furniture. Wooden furniture किससे बनता है? Wood से. So wood is what? My direct material. Now, to paste the wood, we use some kind of glue. This glue is what? Indirect material. Anyone with any doubts or queries? I hope many students, I think many students were not aware about what's the difference between direct and indirect material. So now I hope anyone with any doubts or queries, you can speak to me. Good morning, Mujahid. I think you were there in my previous session also. We'll be discussing, I'll be taking care of service costing also. Very good, everyone. So now let's move towards the next part, that is, what is the difference between direct and indirect labor? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between direct and indirect labor? Whatever running in your mind, do speak up. The more you will interact, the better you will be with the concept. So what's the difference between direct and indirect labor? Can anyone tell me? Be it right, be it wrong, do post your answers. Hemin, incorrect answer. I don't want definitions. I want explanation with the help of an example. See, when I defined that what is direct and indirect cost, आधे लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया था कि difference क्या होता है. But yes, after these examples, I think I mean, in fact, almost all the students were thorough that, okay, this is what the difference between direct and indirect material. No, dear Mithila, it's incorrect. Whosoever are posting the answer, just give the examples of direct and indirect labor. The point is how to differentiate that what is direct labor and what is indirect labor. Very good, everyone. Very good, everyone. I think now I'm getting correct answers. Now see, let me discuss this part. What's the difference between direct labor and indirect labor? Let's take a very simple example. I'm the manufacturer of shirts. Now I have kept a team of 100 laborers, 100 basically tailors who are directly involved in stitching this shirt. I repeat again, I'm the manufacturer of shirt, and these shirts are stitched by the tailors, and I have kept a team of 100 tailors who are directly involved in manufacturing that shirt. So whatever the amount paid to these tailors or the workers who are actually stitching the shirt is what? My direct labor. Now, let's say to supervise the work done by them, to supervise the work done by these tailors, I have kept a supervisor. Now, supervisor is nowhere directly involved in manufacturing a shirt. But yes, to supervise the work done by them, we have to keep a supervisor. So the amount paid to that supervisor is what? My indirect labor. Again, let's take one more example. Now, in the factory, to maintain the cleanliness, I have kept two housekeeping staff. These housekeeping staff are nowhere directly involved in manufacturing a shirt. But yes, to maintain the cleanliness, I have to pay them something. So the amount paid to that housekeeping staff is what? My indirect labor. So those laborers who are directly involved in manufacturing the product, we call them as direct labor. But indirect labor, like the amount paid to the supervisor, the amount paid to the housekeeping staff, the amount paid to the office staff who are accountants or something like that, amount paid to the watchmen. So whatever the amount that are paid to the other staff, those who are not directly involved in manufacturing a product, we call them as indirect labor. Divya, the answer is incorrect. I hope this part is clear. So the tailors who are actually stitching the shirt, the amount paid to them is direct labor. The amount paid to the supervisor for supervising their work, indirect labor. Second point, the amount paid to the watchman for safety, indirect labor. The amount paid to the housekeeping staff to maintain the cleanliness, again, indirect labor. So I hope this part is clear. Direct material, direct labor, indirect labor. Now moving towards direct expenses. Apart from direct material and direct labor, there are many other expenses that are incurred directly in relation to manufacture a product. We call them as direct expenses. So there are few items or examples that are given in the study material, that is power, coal and fuel, royalty paid for manufacturing a product, higher charges paid for hiring specific equipment, fees for technical know-how, amortization of mold, dies or pattern, etc., etc. So apart from direct material, direct labor, whatever the other expenses we are incurring that are directly related to that are directly incurred in relation to manufacture a product, we call them as direct expenses. When talking about indirect expenses, it's a long list जो किसी में भी cover नहीं होता वो आप indirect expenses में डाल दीजिए. जैसे rent, electricity, we can say depreciation, we can say salary to office, sorry, not salary actually, printing and stationery, all are covered under audit fees, all are covered under indirect expenses. So anyone having any doubts or queries till now, you guys can post your queries. Yes, Akila, tell me. You can write your query, Akhila. Okay, so whatever the query you have, you can post your queries. Yes, rent of factory is indirect. Can you tell me how come it will be direct, Akhila? You tell me anyone, I mean, anyone explanation. आप अगर मुझे कोई explanation बताएं कि ये direct कैसे हो सकता है? See, rent of factory is indirect, but why it is indirect? That is the question. Because sometimes students are confused that it is direct or indirect. Yes, Akhila? I'll be coming to this part, Navneet. Wait. So examples of direct expenses can be amortization of dies or molds, technical know-how fees, power, coal and fuel. We can say fees for technical assistance, etc., etc. If we are paying any sort of royalty for manufacturing a product, that is also covered under direct expenses. See, Divya has mentioned a query that, sir, if chef is preparing an order, say cake, then he will be direct labor for the cake. But suppose apart from this, he is also baking other things. So he will be indirect labor for thing he is preparing simultaneously apart from cake. No. Divya, he will be treated the amount paid to him will be basically go under the direct labor only. See, suppose a chef is preparing a cake and biscuits. Now, again, so the amount paid to the chef for preparing this cake will be going under direct labor cost of what? Cake. Now, the amount paid to the chef for preparing biscuits, again, will go under the cost of direct labor for biscuits. Yes, just tell me, you can unmute yourself. So
Very good
both
morning, sir.
labor, but for different products, Divya. So amount paid for manufacturing a cake will go under the direct cost or direct labor cost of cake, and the amount paid for manufacturing that other item, be it biscuits, breads, chocolates, whatever it is. So the amount paid to him for manufacturing these items will go under the direct cost of these items. I hope this part is clear. Yes, just tell me.
Very good morning, sir.
Good morning, dear. Tell me.
सर मतलब एक छोटा सा क्वेरी था, जैसे कि मेरी
थोड़ा सा
कंसल्टेंसी फर्म है.
please. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है बराबर से.
हेलो
जस्ट
हेलो सर, नाउ एम आई ऑडिबल?
yes, tell me.
हाँ सर, मान लीजिए मेरी कंसल्टेंसी एक फर्म है एंड आई एम पेइंग सैलरी टू माय स्टाफ, एंड जो
Forget
मेरा
about
जो
service industry. Right now, the cost sheet is prepared for manufacturing industry. I'll be discussing service cost sheet in service costing. आपका जो क्वेश्चन है मैं सर्विस कॉस्टिंग में कवर करूंगा. डोंट वरी.
ओके ओके सर.
Anything related to manufacturing industry, Josh?
सर नॉट नाउ, इट्स ऑल क्लियर.
Perfect. Any doubts or
यस.
queries?
नो सर, नो सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच सर.
Okay. Anyone else with any doubts or query? Yes, the cake and biscuit, the amount paid to the chef will be distributed proportionately for cakes and biscuits. Anyone else? Anything running in your mind? See, we'll be calculating depreciation for the same. किसी के दिमाग में कुछ भी चल रहा है, you can just post your queries. I'm there to address all your queries. Yes, Nisha, tell me.
सर जैसे वो हमारा शेफ है तो सर उसकी सैलरी तो इनडायरेक्ट होगी ना,
It's
क्योंकि
direct
वो जो
because he is
जो सब
directly involved. We will charge some amount to the cost of product.
तो
It
लेकिन
will,
जैसे सर वो केक केक ये सब बना रहा है, लेकिन उसकी कॉस्ट तो सर डायरेक्ट होगी जो भी वो प्रोडक्ट्स वगैरह बना रहा है।
देखिए केक कौन
लेकिन जो
बना
फिर
रहा है?
उसको जो
केक
सैलरी
कौन बना रहा है? केक कौन बना रहा है?
तो शेफ ही बना रहा है।
शेफ बना रहा है.
हाँ।
So the amount paid to the chef will go under direct labor cost. But let's say we have kept one receptionist at the counter who is selling the product. It will go under indirect labor cost.
ओके।
Anything else?
नो।
So, Gaurav Beswal, when talking about direct expenses, again, the expenses that are directly involved in manufacturing a product, apart from material and labor, we will classify it under direct expenses. Indirect expenses, there is a long list. Now let's proceed further. Now see, when talking about direct cost, it covers direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Indirect cost covers indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. बेसिकली जो आपने चैप्टर ओवरहेड्स पढ़ा है, व्हाट इज ओवरहेड्स? बेसिकली व्हाट इज ओवरहेड्स? द इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज ओवरहेड्स. When talking about the chapter, what you have learned in the previous sessions, overheads. What is overheads? Basically, the indirect cost is what we call as overheads. Now, this indirect cost, indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. This indirect costs are incurred at three stages. These indirect costs are incurred at three stages. That is factory, office and administration, and selling and distribution. ये जो भी indirect cost है, that is indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses, they are incurred at 3 stages. फैक्ट्री में भी हो सकता है, ऑफिस एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में भी हो सकता है, सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में भी हो सकता है. Let's take with factory. We can say the factory electricity bill, depreciation on machinery. I'll be writing few examples also for your reference. So I'm just dictating few things that indirect expenses can be incurred at 3 stages. That is at factory, office and admin, and selling and distribution. It means what? फैक्ट्री में क्या हो सकता है? इनडायरेक्ट मटेरियल, इनडायरेक्ट लेबर, इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस. अगेन ऑफिस में भी क्या हो सकता है? इनडायरेक्ट मटेरियल, इनडायरेक्ट लेबर, इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस. अगेन सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में भी क्या हो सकता है? इनडायरेक्ट मटेरियल, इनडायरेक्ट लेबर एंड इनडायरेक्ट एक्सपेंसेस. So this indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses can be at factory also, office also, and selling and distribution also. When talking about factory, it can be factory rent, factory electricity, factory supervisor salary, any incidental material that is used to manufacture a product will go under direct material. Then, when talking about office and administration, salary pays to the staff, salary paid to the accountant, director fees, audit fees, then postage and telegram, office electricity, office rent, office machinery, depreciation. Then selling and distribution also we can say salesman commission, salary to salesman, etc. etc. So very simple. These indirect cost, or we call it as overheads, can be at factory also, office and administration also, and selling and distribution also. Anyone with any doubts or queries? So we started with cost sheet. Cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the costs that are related to manufacture a product. Cost can be two parts: direct cost, indirect cost. When talking about direct cost, the cost that is directly attributable in manufacturing a product is direct cost. Indirect cost, the cost that play a supporting role in manufacturing a product is indirect cost. Direct cost covers direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. Indirect cost covers indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses. Now, indirect cost 3 stages पे लगता है. फैक्ट्री में भी indirect cost हो सकता है, ऑफिस एंड एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में भी इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट हो सकता है, एंड सेलिंग एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में भी इनडायरेक्ट कॉस्ट हो सकता है. सो दिस इज द समरी of last 34 minutes. If you guys have any doubts or queries, you guys can speak to me. In the meanwhile, I'm giving you time to copy. Again, do write in your notebook what you have understood. What you will write, you will remember. So जो भी आपके white board पे दिख रहा है, do copy it. And apart from this, write your comments in the notebook that this is what sir taught me and this is what I have understood. Because every time you can't check the recorded session. So to memorize the things, you have to write in your notebook that what you have understood. You can write few examples. जैसे कि मैंने आपको पेन का दिया कि in case if we are manufacturing a pen, plastic and ink is what? My direct material. And oil, lubricating, and grease is what? My indirect material. Another example, to manufacture a cake, flour, egg, chocolate is direct material, and apron, hand gloves, and that chef cap is indirect material. Indirect labor also, the amount paid to the labor is direct material. Indirect material, the amount paid to the supervisor, watchman, or we can say the cleaning stuff is indirect labor. So just do write your examples in your language. Again, what you will write, you will remember. I'm giving you 5 minutes time to copy everything, and you can write the examples in your notebook. In the meanwhile, whatever the queries you have, you can post all your queries also. So I'll just check out all your queries and will address your queries. Yes, it is direct. Any doubts, Navneet, Josh, Meenu, Divya, Nisha, Mathili, Anil, Gaurav, Khushi Gupta, any doubts? Bala Murugan, Kabira, Karan, Gaurav, Hemin, anyone with any doubts or queries? Diksha, again, this answer is incorrect. How come it will be direct? You tell me, Diksha. No, it is nothing related to trading account. Somehow, somewhere we can say yes, Gaurav. Packaging is also, it covers under cost of production also, and I'll be covering this part in detail. Yes, Diksha, why it will be classified under direct? You tell me. Okay, Akila, you tell me that is it directly involved in manufacturing pen? Yes, Akila. Then it is indirect. And it will not go under indirect material, indirect labor. It will go under indirect expenses. Yes, Diksha, I'm waiting for your explanation. Why depreciation will go under direct? Okay, so plant and machinery, depreciation on plant and machinery. So my first question, depreciation on plant and machinery is direct labor or direct material or direct labor or direct expenses. You say, are they directly involved in manufacturing a product? No, they are basically the machines wherein we are using to manufacture a product. So the depreciation on machinery will go under indirect expenses of factory. Depreciation on machinery will go under indirect expenses of factory. It will be under Kabira, it will be direct expenses. So patents taken, or see, as I said, technical know-how fees or any sort of royalty that we are paying to manufacture a product will go under direct expenses. Salary to the selling and distribution staff will go under selling and distribution expenses. That is indirect labor. Anyone with any other doubts or queries? Ankita, Kajal, Mujahid, Ananya, Nisha, Ashok, Jignesh. I hope it is visible now, Navneet. Yes, Gaurav. So, as I said, indirect cost. When I'm writing indirect cost, it means indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. Indirect cost, or we can call it as overheads also. are incurred at three stages: factory, office and administration, so writing few examples for your reference. So it can be factory rent, factory electricity, depreciation on factory building, depreciation on plant and machinery, consumable stores, we can say supervisor salary, etc. When talking about office and administration, if the salary is given, you can put under, then audit fees if it is given, director fees if it is given, printing and stationery, postage and telegram, then depreciation on office furniture, depreciation on office equipments, etc. When talking about selling and distribution, advertisement, depreciation on delivery vehicles, then carriage outward, packing for redistribution, salesman salary. So these are the few examples which will give you an overall idea that what all are the indirect costs that are incurred at the factory level, office and administration, and selling and distribution. Yes, Josh Agarwal. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Carriage inward, I'll be discussing this part separately, Meenu. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Yes, Nisha, Ananya, Lohit, Ankita, Ashok, Mujahid. I just want each and every student who are present, I mean, they should be thorough with the concept. So whatever running in your mind, you can speak to me. So these are the few examples. What are few examples of the costs that are incurred at the factory, office and administration, and selling and distribution. You can take the screenshot also. I mean, the list is available in the study material. Perfect, everyone. I'm going to ask you many questions, students. ऑडिट फीस के नीचे डायरेक्टर फीस, नवनीत। So now we are well aware about what is cost, what is direct cost, what is indirect cost. Now the point is how to arrange these costs systematically, how to arrange this direct and indirect cost systematically in a statement. So this statement is what we call as cost sheet. The question is how to prepare cost sheet. Yes, Mithila, it will go under selling and distribution. So now we are well aware about what all are the costs that are involved to manufacture a product. Now, how to systematically arrange these costs in a statement. So let's prepare that statement. We call it as cost sheet. So let's start with the preparation of cost sheet now. I hope the board is visible to all. So let's start with the cost sheet. Now, first we will write down all the direct cost. What all are covered under direct cost? Direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. So let's start with the direct cost. Now see, straight away, if in question direct material is given, we will write direct material. Straight away, straight away, yes, Mino. I mean, I hope the board is visible. Okay. So straight away, if the direct material is given in the question, we will write direct material. But let's say some information is given in the question as regards opening and closing stock of raw material. Some information is given in the question as regards opening and closing stock of raw material. So how to present it? Let's start. So we will write first of all, if direct material is given straight away, we will write direct material. But let's say some information is given in the question as regards opening and closing stock of raw material. So how we will write? First, we will write opening stock of raw material. We will add purchase of raw material, and we will subtract so the final figure what we will get is raw material consumed. So we will start with opening stock of raw material. We will add the purchase cost of raw material and we will subtract the closing stock of raw material. So the final figure what we'll be getting is what? See, the trading and Anil, it's a good question. See, the cost sheet is an estimated data. कुछ भी करने से पहले सबसे पहले हम लोग एक एस्टिमेट बनाते हैं to what will be the estimated cost of the product. So we call it as cost sheet. But when talking about trading and P&L and balance sheet, they are prepared at the year end when the actual figures are out. So cost sheet is all what about estimated data, and financial accounts are basically all what about the actual data. I hope this part is clear, Anil. Cost sheet is all what about estimated data, and financial accounts, that is trading, and balance sheet, is all what about actual data. Anil, hopefully your query is resolved. So cost sheet is an estimated data and all the financial accounts are actual data. Yes, the cost sheet is estimated data. Even costing is all what about estimated data, be it overheads, be it material, be it labor, be it cost sheet, be it process costing, whatever it is. This is all what about estimated data. But when talking about actual data, the financial accounts are actual data. That's why we do prepare the reconciliation of cost and financial accounts. Anyways, let's proceed further. So opening stock of raw material, we will add the purchase cost of raw material, we will subtract the closing stock of raw material. So after making these adjustments, the final figure what we'll be getting is what? Raw material consumed. For cost control, Anil, it's an estimated data depending upon the past data that is available and the industry predictions. So now when talking about the purchase of raw material, when talking about the purchase amount of raw material, it includes the purchase price of the raw material. Apart from this, whatever the costs that are incurred till the factory gate will be included in the cost of raw material. Again, I repeat, when talking about the purchase of raw material, apart from the purchase price, whatever that are the costs that are incurred till the factory gate, from the supplier premise till the factory gate, will be included in the cost of raw material. Yes, Anil. So, when talking about the purchase of raw material, apart from the amount paid to the supplier, whatever the costs that are incurred from the supplier premise till the factory gate will be included in the cost of raw material. So, when talking about the purchase of raw material, we will write down the purchase price. Now we will add a few items. What all costs can be incurred? So very simple, carriage inward or freight inward. Carriage or if the goods are imported, let's say I'm the manufacturer of wooden furniture and I do import teak wood from Indonesia. I repeat again, I'm the manufacturer of imported teak wood furniture and I do import teak wood from Indonesia. So apart from the purchase price paid, whatever the freight from Indonesia till India will be added to the cost of my teak wood. Apart from this, if I'm paying anything in the form of transit insurance and I am bearing the transit insurance, again, it will be included in the cost of raw material. If I'm paying any sort of commission on purchases, it will be added to the cost of raw material. If I'm paying any sort of import duty or custom duty, it will be added to the cost of raw material. If earlier there was a tax called as octroi, now after the introduction of GST, it is removed. But sometimes they put up this point of octroi also. So if octroi is also given, it will be added to the cost of raw material. This is no more effective. Octroi has been removed after the introduction of GST. But however, if in question it is given, then it will be added. Apart from this, if we are paying any sort of GST, it will be added. So these all are items that can be added. Now, when talking about the deduction, so see, when talking about the deduction, if we are paying any import duty and we are getting any sort of duty credit or duty drawback, government को मैंने import duty pay किया and government is giving me the credit back, so it will be deducted. So we call it as duty drawback. Again, when talking about GST to the registered dealer, the GST credit is available. So if we are paying GST, it will be added. But if we are getting the credit back, it will be deducted. So in short, very simple. अगर आप कोई goods purchase करते हैं 10,000 में, and if you are paying 1,200 as GST, and you are getting back the credit of 1,200 of GST paid, then simply ignore GST. Neither you have to add nor you have to deduct. Simply ignore GST. So if you are getting the GST credit back, then it is to be deducted. But if you are not getting the credit back, it will be added in the cost of material. Now, if government is giving you any sort of subsidy on purchase of raw material, government says that you purchase this material, I am there for you. I'll pay you the 20% of the price of raw material. So whatever the subsidy that is given by the government for purchase or procurement of raw material, that will also be deducted from the cost of material. So apart from this, maybe if any trade discount is given, it will also be deducted. Now let's say I'm the manufacturer. Let's say I'm the owner of a brand name potato chips. So I have the owner, I have a business of manufacturing potato chips. Now I do procure these potatoes directly from farm. I repeat again, guys. Yes, purchase return. Yes, 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 it will be deducted. Now see, let's take an example. Now I'm the manufacturer of potato chips. I have a big brand and I do manufacture potato chips and sell it in the market. Now, I do procure the potatoes directly from farm. Now, farm से मेरे factory gate तक जब potatoes आते हैं, there is 2 times loading and unloading. Now, during the course of loading and unloading, certain percentage of potatoes are damaged. Let's say I procured 1,000 kgs and out of this 1,000 kgs, 50 kgs are damaged. Now, these spoiled potatoes are scrapped out in the market at a very nominal price. So, I'm getting some amount on sale of scrap of raw material. So, whatever the amount that is realized on sale of these damaged or spoiled potatoes, which is basically my raw material. So, whatever the amount that is realized on sale of scrap of raw material will be deducted from the cost of purchase. So, amount realized on sale of scrap of raw material. I'm not talking about the damaged or deteriorated potato chips. I'm just talking about the damaged or spoiled potatoes. That is my raw material. So अगर कोई raw material transit में कुछ भी खराब हुआ है, and if it is scrapped out in the market at a very nominal price, so whatever the amount that is realized on sale of scrap, it will be deducted from the cost of purchase. So this is basically the purchase. I hope this part is clear to all. Abnormal loss will never form part of cost sheet. Yes, just tell me.
एक छोटी सी क्वेरी है, जैसे एक छोटा सा क्वेरी है, जैसे
बोलिए
कि
ना।
हमने प्राइस में जो जीएसटी ऐड करा है, बट सर
आपकी
हम
आवाज बराबर नहीं आ रही है यार।
हेलो।
हाँ जी, बताइए।
हाँ सर, जो हमने भी परचेज प्राइस में हमने जीएसटी ऐड करा है, बट हम तो जो वैल्यू लेते हैं तो टैक्सेबल लेते हैं ना।
जस्ट एकदम सिंपल हिसाब किताब बताता हूँ।
हाँ
वेरी
जी।
सिंपल हिसाब किताब। सपोज इफ यू आर परचेजिंग 10,000 rupees का मटीरियल, राइट? 12%
ओके।
you are paying GST. The invoice will be of what? 11,200, right?
यस सर।
Right?
यस सर।
Now you are a registered dealer. You will be
ओके।
getting the credit back of 1,200.
यस सर।
सो वेरी सिंपल। जो 1,200 आपने पे किया, अगर आपने एक बार ऐड किया और उसके बाद वापस 1,200 लेस करेंगे, तो आपके लिए मटेरियल का प्राइस कितना रहेगा? सिर्फ 10,000 ही रहेगा।
हाँ, बट हम उसे बाद में कैलकुलेट करेंगे जब हमारा आईटीसी मिल
नहीं
जाएगा
नहीं नहीं,
उसका।
बाद में कैलकुलेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। वेरी सिंपल, इफ द जीएसटी क्रेडिट इज अवेलेबल, simply you will be taking the price of material as 10,000, right? Because if you are paying something to the government, government is giving you back, right?
यस सर।
But suppose if you are not a registered dealer, are you going to get the credit back of 1,200?
नो।
No. So your cost will be what? 11,200. That is 10,000 plus 1,200. I hope it is clear now.
यस सर, बट फिर सर हमने यहाँ पर इसके आपने ऑक्यूराइड के नीचे जीएसटी क्यों लिखा है, अगर हम
क्या क्या क्या
रजिस्टर्ड
क्या
डीलर है
क्या?
तो? फिर ये जो सर आपने परचेज प्राइस में लास्ट में आपने जीएसटी ऐड भी लिखा है ना यहाँ पे।
नहीं नहीं
फिर
डियर, इधर मैंने जीएसटी ऐड किया है, बट इफ
हाँ।
जीएसटी क्रेडिट मिलता है तो वापस क्या कर देंगे? लेस कर देंगे।
ओके सर, ओके नाउ क्लियर।
परफेक्ट।
यस सर, डन।
एनी अदर डाउट्स? Anyone else with any doubts or queries? I'm just covering each and every point in detail कि जब आप question solve करें तो ऐसा नहीं लगे कि okay, what is this? So I'm just covering each and every point in detail. Anyone with any doubts or queries? So as I've given an example that I'm the manufacturer of potato chips from potatoes, and I do procure these potatoes from farm. And during transit, loading and unloading, certain potatoes are damaged. These damaged potatoes I have sold in the market at a very nominal price. So whatever the amount realized on sale of these damaged potatoes will be deducted from the purchase overall purchase price of material. This is what the example I want to explain, Minu. Anyone else? Students, these sessions are conducted by ICAI for you guys only. So whatever running in your mind, whatever the queries you have, you can post me. I'm there to help you out. Trust me, I have lots of patience to address each and every query of every student. So don't feel shy. Whatever you want to speak, you can speak to me. I'm here to address all your queries. Anyone else? So now this item will form part of cost sheet. Alternatively, you can write it as footnote also, but it is advisable that all these items will form part of cost sheet. And after adjusting all these items, we will write down the purchase of raw material, and this is how we will get raw material consumed.
Sir, sir, can you explain the difference between carriage inward and freight inward?
एक ही है यार, वही समझ लो, nothing more. You can use it interchangeably, that's okay.
Okay.
Anything else? If it is outward, it will go under selling and distribution. If it is carriage inward or freight inward, it will go under it will be added to the cost of purchase of raw material. And if it is carriage or freight outward, then it will go under selling and distribution. Yes, Diksha, tell me.
हेलो सर, गुड मॉर्निंग।
गुड
सर,
मॉर्निंग
जो
दिक्षा, टेल मी।
नॉर्मल लॉस होता है वो परचेसेस में इंक्लूड होगा?
नहीं नहीं यार, मैंने एकदम सिंपल से एग्जांपल दिया डियर, कि कुछ भी मटेरियल अगर ट्रांजिट में फैक्ट्री के गेट तक आने से पहले कुछ स्क्रैप आउट हो जाता है, और इफ वी आर सेलिंग इट एट अ वेरी नॉमिनल प्राइस, that will be deducted from the cost of material. It is what we call as normal loss only. Any sort of abnormal loss will not be considered while preparing cost sheet.
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Anything else? देखिए नवनीत सर, अगर सेलर बेयर कर रहा है तो परचेज के कॉस्ट में ऐड नहीं होगा। यस नवनीत, जो हम अपनी पॉकेट से पे कर रहे हैं वही हमारी कॉस्ट होगी। अगर सेलर कुछ पे कर रहा है तो वो हमारी कॉस्ट होगी ही नहीं, सो इट विल नॉट फॉर्म पार्ट ऑफ कॉस्ट शीट। Khushi Gupta is saying that, sir, if vehicle for delivery, that is, it will go under selling and distribution expenses first of all. So if we are hiring a vehicle for delivery of goods, so whatever the higher charges paid for the delivery vehicle will go under selling and distribution. No, 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 no. See, if your example 50 kgs of potatoes were fully damaged, nothing is getting as scrap sale. So we have to ignore. जब कुछ पैसा मिला ही नहीं है तो डिडक्ट क्यों करेंगे? If we are getting something in return for the price paid, whatever the amount that is written at the end of the day, net cost जो आपने pay किया, that will be the purchase cost. Anyone else? Good. I'm happy that many students are participating in the session. Yes, for seller, it is the selling expenses. Okay, so now, very important, guys, I'll be erasing this part. So I request you guys to copy this explanation at least. What will be included in the purchase of raw material? So this explanation is not given anywhere. So that's why I'm just requesting you guys to copy this part, please. In the meanwhile, those who have any doubts or queries, you can speak to me. But yes, I request you guys to copy this explanation. So when talking about the purchase of raw material, these all are the items that are need to be adjusted in the purchase of raw material. Yes, Mr. Egan, tell me.
Sir, under input duty, what is it is being written, sir? Under input duty.
Octroi. This was an old tax that was levied, but yes, after the introduction of GST, it has been removed. So it's like कई बार questions में ना octroi दिया हुआ होता है. So many time you will find the question in the questions relating to octroi, because earlier it was the tax that was imposed by the state government, but now it has been removed. Still, if you find this kind of word in the practical problem, just add it to the cost of purchase.
Okay, sir.
This is just for your safety, that if you find anything new, then don't get confused. But this
Okay,
has
sir.
been removed now.
Okay, sir.
It's better to write it in cost sheet only, Akila. For every step, you will be getting some marks, Gaurav. Final answers के marks बहुत कम होते हैं. When talking about examination, for every step you will get some marks. Final जो answer होता है उसके marks ज़्यादा नहीं होते हैं. The steps, the process, what you are following, for every step or process you will get some marks. Done with this part, guys? So now we are done with the total, that is raw material consumed, that is opening stock of raw material, add purchase of raw material, what all is adjusted in purchase cost of raw material I have discussed, less closing stock of raw material will be getting raw material consumed. Now, so direct material is over. Now, next is direct labor and direct expenses. So direct material, direct labor and direct expenses, we will calculate the total. We call it as prime cost. So when talking about cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the cost. So first and the foremost thing what we'll be recording in cost sheet is what? All the direct costs, that is direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. And the total of these three, we call it as prime cost. So this term, the total of this direct material, direct labor and direct expenses, इसकी टोटल को हम लोग क्या नाम देते हैं? प्राइम कॉस्ट. सो दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज प्राइम कॉस्ट. सो व्हाट इज प्राइम कॉस्ट? Direct material, direct labor and direct expenses. Now one more point I want to discuss, sometimes to confuse you guys, examiner can put up few points relating to direct labor. See, apart from the wages paid, apart from the wages paid to the workers, there are many benefits or allowances that are given to the workers. So whatever the benefit, be it monetary, be it non-monetary, be it in cash or non-cash, whatever it will be added to the direct labor cost. So when talking about direct labor, simply we can say the wages paid. To confuse you guys, sometimes examiner will give overtime bonus, facilities, allowances. So don't get confused. If it is given to the direct labor who are actively involved in manufacturing a product, it will be added to the cost of direct labor. So if we are paying them wages, it will be added. If we are paying them bonus, if we are going to pay them overtime bonus or wages, if we are going to give them some allowances, that is traveling allowance, food allowance, whatever it is. So allowances, if any sort of benefit that is or facility that are provided to the workers. See, instead of providing them food allowance, they are giving free food to the workers. They are providing medical facility to the workers. They are providing pickup and drop to the workers. So all these facilities will be added to the cost of labor. So perquisites, that is, so medical facility, pickup and drop facility, food facility, any sort of other benefits they are giving to the workers will be added to the direct labor cost. Apart from this, employer contribution to provident fund. Employer अगर employee को कोई भी benefit देता है, it will be added to the cost of the product. So if employer is giving any sort of contribution to provident fund to the labor, it will be added to the cost of labor. Again, all these items will form part of cost sheet, but yes, due to space constraint, I'm just preparing these notes for better understanding. So if the wages paid or direct labor paid, if it is given straight away, you can write. Apart from this, there are few points that examiner can give you to confuse you guys. That is bonus, overtime bonus or wages, allowances, perquisites, employer contribution to PF. All these will be added to the cost of labor. So I request you guys to copy this part. So all this will be basically what? My direct labor. Yes, bonus paid will be added to the cost of direct labor. So direct material is done, direct labor is done, direct expenses are done. So now the total of all these three will be what? My prime cost. Now in prime cost, we will add all the factory overheads. Factory overhead means what? Factory indirect cost. See, as I mentioned also, what is indirect cost? The cost that play a supporting role in manufacturing a product. These indirect cost is what we call as overheads. So whatever the indirect costs that are incurred at the factory level, we will write down. So add factory oblique work overheads. So whatever the indirect costs that are incurred at the factory level, be it indirect material, indirect labor, indirect expenses, but very important at the factory level will be written. So after adding all these items, we will be getting the gross factory cost or gross work cost. So in prime cost, we will add all the factory overheads. So after adding all the factory overheads, the amount what we will be getting is what? My gross factory cost or work cost. In this, we will make adjustments of opening work in progress, we will add and we will subtract closing work in progress. We will add opening work in progress, we will subtract closing work in progress. So we'll be getting factory cost or work cost. Anyone with any doubts or queries? So very simple, guys. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. The total will be what? Prime cost. In prime cost, if we add all the factory overheads, we'll be getting gross factory cost or work cost. After calculating gross factory cost or work cost, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. We will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. We will get what the final figure as factory cost or work cost. Now, after calculating the factory cost or work cost, we'll be again making adjustments of few items. We'll be making adjustments of few items. So we will add few items, that is quality control cost. The first item is quality control cost. Second is research and development cost. Third is admin overheads related to production. We will add quality control cost. We will add research and development cost. We will add all the administration overhead related to production. We will subtract credit for recoveries, and then we will add primary packing cost. So in factory cost or work cost, we will add what? First and the foremost thing, quality control cost. Second is research and development cost. Third is administration overhead related to production. Fourth is credit for recoveries. That is, we will be deducting this credit for recoveries. Next, we will be adding the primary packing cost. So these 5 adjustments, first is quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production. We will subtract first the credit for recoveries, and then we will add primary packing cost. And the total what we will be getting is my cost of production. The total what we'll be getting is what? The cost of production. Now, I'll be discussing these points one by one in detail, so don't worry. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I'll be back with the detailed discussion on these items, that is quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production, credit for recoveries, and primary packing cost. So this is the break for me, not for you guys. In the meanwhile, what I will suggest is whatever you have understood, just write it down in your notebook in your language, because I repeat again, every time you can't check the recorded session. So जो भी मैंने अब तक पढ़ाया है उसको क्विकली आप नोट डाउन कर लीजिए इन योर लैंग्वेज. सी, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग यू टाइम टू राइट द एक्सप्लेनेशन, but what all you have understood, what all the understanding you have developed, just write it down. So because what you will write, you will remember it forever. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes with a detailed discussion on all these points, and then if the time permits, we'll be discussing few questions today. So let's take a break. Edwin sir, are you there? Should I start? I think I was not on mute or what. Chalega. Anyways. So let's start, guys. So there are few items that need to be discussed. That is quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production, credit for recoveries, and primary packing cost. So the total will be cost of production. Let me check few queries. I think it's the cost. Yes, bonus paid to the worker will form part of prime cost and it will be added to the direct labor cost. Anil, when talking about why we add opening work in progress, because see, the goods that are not finished will be completed first, and so that's why it will be added. And the goods that are still remain unfinished by the year end, that's why we deduct it. Because at the end of the day, we are calculating the total cost of the finished goods. This is what I want to explain. Navneet, still some items are left out in cost sheet. So let's start now. Quality control cost and research and development cost. When talking about quality control cost, whatever the costs that are incurred to improve the quality of the product or for to maintain the quality of product will be added to the quality control cost or will form part of quality control cost. Let's say we are using some material to test the quality of the product, so that material will form part of quality control cost. Let's say if we are doing any sort of inspection to improvise the quality of the product, so again, whatever the cost of inspection is, that will be added to the cost of the, that will be added to the quality control cost. Let's say quality to maintain the quality, we have appointed a team. So again, the amount that is paid to that team will form part of quality control cost. When talking about the research and development cost, any cost that are associated with research and development, when talking about research and development, either the research or development cost is incurred to improve the product quality or for improvement of production process, that will form part of research and development cost. So quality control cost, the costs that are associated with improvement of quality will go under quality control cost. Research and development cost, any sort of research that is conducted for improvement of product or production process will form part of research and development cost. Now, administration overhead related to production. See, there are general administration overheads also, and there are few overheads that are related to production. So let's say salary paid to production control manager. Again, the production control manager is basically the administrative job. So herein, whatever the salary paid to the production control manager will go under administration overhead related to production. So in short, some or other hints will be given in the question wherein you can easily bifurcate that it is quality control cost or research and development cost or administration overhead related to production. While discussing question, we'll be discussing few points. Now the next item is credit for recoveries. Now, while calculating the cost of purchase, very important, while calculating the cost of purchase, we deducted at last what? The amount realized on scrap of raw material. So agar raw material scrap out hota tha, so what we used to do? We used to deduct from the purchase price of raw material. If any raw material is scrapped out, we used to deduct it from the purchase price of raw material. But let's say if any scrap is generated from production process, not directly from raw material, but if any scrap or waste is generated from production process and that scrap is sold out in the market, then amount realized on sale of that scrap will be deducted as credit for recoveries. I repeat again, there are two terms. First thing is what? amount realized on sale of scrap of raw material, it will be deducted from but any amount realized on waste that is generated from production process. Waste amount realized on sale of waste or scrap generated from production process will be assumed, will be deducted while calculating cost of production. So this is basically what credit for recoveries means. What amount realized on sale of scrap or waste that is generated from production process. We also call this as amount realized on sale of byproduct. So in short, if any amount is realized on sale of byproduct, so that amount will be deducted while calculating the credit for recoveries. When talking about byproduct, what is byproduct? The waste that is generated from the I'll write down the definition and explanation also for byproduct, that is incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacturing the main product. So any amount realized on sale of byproduct will be deducted while calculating cost of production. When talking about what is byproduct, incidental waste that arises during the course of manufacturing the main product. Let's say an example. I'm the manufacturer of sugar from sugarcane. Sugarcane, so sugarcane is what? My raw material. Sugar is what? My final product. Now, during the course of manufacturing sugar, some byproduct is generated. We call it as molasses. That molasses have some market value. So, amount realized on sale of molasses, we will be deducting while calculating the cost of production. Another example, let's say I'm the manufacturer of shirts. Now, during cutting, some fabric is scrapped out, and that scrapped out fabric is sold in the market at a very nominal price. Let's say the people who are manufacturing handkerchiefs or the people who are manufacturing face masks, they are using that fabric, and I'm selling that scrapped fabric or waste to these manufacturers. So whatever the amount realized on sale of these items, we call it as what? Credit for recoveries. Anyone with any doubts or queries? Anyone with any doubts or queries? Yes. Yes, Surinder, Jash, Meenu, Kajal, Nitin. Can you, coconut is also an example. I'm not getting Akila. Tanmai, Kajal. Anyone with any doubts or queries? Ashok, Khushi, Ankita, Nisha, Bhavani, Maithili. Anyone with any doubts? So I hope this part is clear to all. So अगर raw material scrap out होता है, it will be deducted from the cost of raw material. But if any waste that is generated from production process and that is sold in the market at a very nominal price, it will be deducted while calculating cost of production. I request you guys to copy this explanation, please. Now, the next important term is packing cost. Again, this point. Can anyone give me examples of primary packing cost and packing for redistribution? If you guys have a rough idea, waiting for your comments. Can anyone tell me what is primary packing cost and what is packing for redistribution? Yes, Nisha, tell me. Very good, Meenu. Perfect answer.
So packing cost that is related to manufacturing, like
Example.
so like we wants to for veg.
Example. I want an example.
Okay.
क्या है example आप बताइए. Whatever it is, you can speak to me. Yes.
Hello.
Sir,
Yeah.
for biscuit we want to pack. So
Very good.
first primary means just for packing. Primarily we have to pack. Then for selling it, then another packing. So this we call it as primary packing and packing for the redistribution.
So many are posting the answer: surf excel packing, sugar packing. So very simple example. See the packing cost which is necessary to market the product. Let's say, Pepsi or let's say Fruity. फ्रूटी जो आता है किस में आता है टेट्रा पैक में without that tetra pack the product cannot be sold in the market. So that cost of that tetra pack or cost of that plastic bottle or cost of that glass bottle that is used to consume fruity or Pepsi, whatever it is, that is what we call as primary packing cost. Again, few students mentioned that toothpaste tube. So toothpaste is marketable only when that is kept in that toothpaste tube. Without this, the product is not marketable. The product cannot be sold in the market. So that is what we call as primary packing cost. And secondary packing cost, the cost for redistribution. Let's say 50 tetra packs are packed in a container. 50 tetra packs of fruity are packed in a container. So the cost of that container is what we can say packing for redistribution. But yes, the cost of the tetra pack is basically what primary cost. And if the 50 tetra packs are packed in a container, so the cost of that container is what we call as packing for redistribution. Very good. Chips cover, toothpaste tube, hing in the box or masala in the box. Very good, everyone. Very good. So primary packing cost, it will go under cost of production, and packing for redistribution will go under selling and distribution. I request you guys to copy this explanation, please. Very good, everyone. I request you guys to copy this part, please. Very good, Khushi, it is correct. So primary packing cost, it will form part of cost of production, and packing for redistribution, it will go under selling and distribution. So very important, guys. Let's revise what we have discussed till now. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. The total will be what? Prime cost. After prime cost, we will add all the factory overheads. We will get what? Gross factory or work cost. In this, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. In this, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. We will get what? The gross factory or work, the factory cost or work cost. Now, after calculating the factory cost or work cost, we have to make few adjustments. First, quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production, and primary packing cost. These items need to be added, and subtract is what? Credit for recoveries. So after making these adjustments, we'll be getting what? Cost of production. Now let's proceed further. So we have already calculated the cost of production. In this cost of production, we will make adjustments of opening and closing stock of finished goods. We'll make adjustments of add opening stock of finished goods, subtract we will get cost of goods sold. So after calculating the cost of production, we will make adjustments of opening and closing stock of finished goods. So we will get what? The cost of goods sold. Want to discuss one more point? Closing stock of finished goods is always valued at cost of production. Very important point, guys. I discussed this point with the help of an example also. So, closing stock of finished goods is valued at cost of production. ये जो क्लोजिंग स्टॉक होता है फिनिश गुड्स का, इट इज वैल्यूड एट कॉस्ट ऑफ प्रोडक्शन. लेट्स से my cost of production is, let's say, 8 lakh rupees. My cost of production is 8 lakh rupees. Units manufactured, let's say 10,000 units were manufactured. Units sold, 7,000 units only. Units sold were 7,000 units only. Can you guys calculate the cost of production? Sorry, cost of goods sold? Can you guys calculate the cost of the goods that are actually sold? So very simple, guys. As I said, closing stock of finished goods is valued at cost of production. So, see, units manufactured were 10,000, units sold were how much? 7,000. It means units in stock, or we can say closing stock of finished goods will be how much? 10,000 units आपने manufacture किए. Very simple, guys. 10,000 units you manufactured, 7,000 units you sold. So how many units are still in stock? 3,000 units. 3,000 units are still in stock. Now, what will be the value of these 3,000 units? Very simple. What is the cost per unit of manufacturing? 8 lakh was the cost for 10,000 units. So 80 is the cost per unit. So what will be the value of closing stock? 3,000 units into 80. So if we deduct 2,40,000 from 8 lakh, 5,60,000 will be the cost of goods sold. Very good, everyone. Your answers are correct. So very simple, guys. See, generally, in question, units manufactured will be given. Units sold will be given. So we have to first find out what the closing stock of finished goods, that is 3,000 units. Thereafter, we have to find the value of closing stock. And how we will find the value of closing stock? Closing stock is valued at cost of production. That is the total cost divided by units manufactured. We will get the cost per unit. So 80 rupees is the cost per unit. So what will be the cost of 3,000 units? 2,40,000. Very good, everyone. Your answers are correct. Appreciate your efforts. Anyone having any doubts? Yes. Navneet? Any doubts, Navneet? Okay. So very important, guys. Closing stock of finished goods is valued at cost of production. Now let's proceed further. After calculating the cost of goods sold, we have to add a few more items. First one is general administration overheads. Next is selling overheads. And next is distribution overhead. So after adding all these items, we will get the final cost, that is the cost of sales. I request you guys to copy this explanation first of all. I request you guys to copy this format again. Try to write it down. What you will write, you will remember. So try to write it down everything. Then we will just revise what we have discussed till now. We'll brief what we have discussed in today's session. So giving you 2 to 3 minutes time to copy everything. Everyone, I request you guys to copy it. Again, if you will write, you will remember. So starting with what? First of all, opening stock of raw material, add purchase of raw material, less closing stock of raw material, we will get raw material consumed. In this, we will add direct labor and direct expenses, we will get the prime cost. So what is prime cost? Direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. So after calculating the prime cost, we will add all the factory overheads. So after writing all the factory overheads, what we will get? The gross factory cost or work cost. When talking about factory overheads, what all are the examples of factory overheads? I'll be posting few questions, Gaurav. Don't worry. Mostly tomorrow only I'll be posting few questions and I'll be discussing many questions in the coming session. So what all are covered under factory overheads? Factory rent, factory electricity, supervisor salary, factory watchman salary, depreciation on factory building, depreciation on plant and machinery, rent of factory. Very good, everyone. So all these are covered under factory overheads. So in factory overheads, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. We will get the factory cost or work cost. In factory cost, work cost, we have to make 5 adjustments: quality control cost, research and development cost, quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production, add primary packing cost, and less credit for recoveries. These items need to be adjusted to calculate the cost of production. After calculating the cost of production, we will make adjustments of opening and closing stock of finished goods. So after adjusting opening and closing stock of finished goods, we will get cost of goods sold. After calculating cost of goods sold, very simple, all the general administration overhead, selling overhead, and distribution overhead, we will get the cost of sales. This is all what about cost sheet. See, Minu, you have got what? The cost of production is 8 lakh, right? Now there is no opening stock. We have to subtract closing stock to calculate the cost of goods sold. So the value of closing stock is 240. So 8 lakh minus 240, we will get 560. Yes, cost sheet pro forma is complete. Again, this is a fixed format. You can't change. So you have to memorize the format. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? I request you guys to copy this example also. So anyone with any doubts or queries? I'm done with the format of cost sheet. Anyone with any doubts or queries? Yes. I hope most of the students are now thorough with the concepts. It is nothing related to cost calculation, Mr. Kabira. When talking about cost sheet, it is an estimated data, dear. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Mathili, credit for recoveries, as I've explained, During the course of manufacturing the main product, some scrap or byproduct is generated. As I mentioned that during the course of manufacturing sugar, molasses is generated. And that molasses, that is the byproduct, is sold in the market, let's say for a nominal price. So whatever the amount that is realized on sale of molasses is basically what we call it as credit for recoveries. That agar manufacturing process में कोई waste generate होता है and that waste is sold in the market and we are getting some amount for that waste, so that waste, the amount realized on that waste is what we call as credit for recoveries. I hope your query is resolved, Maithili. Now, what all is covered in cost sheet I have discussed in detail, but there are certain items that are not to be considered while preparing cost sheet. There are certain items that are not to be considered while preparing cost sheet. Guys, do make a note of it. Cost sheet is an estimated data. First and the foremost thing. Now, there are certain items that are not to be considered while preparing cost sheet. Can you guys tell me what all are the items that are not to be considered? Whatever running in your mind, you can post it. There are certain items that are not to be considered. आपको क्वेश्चन में बहुत सारे ऐसे आइटम दिए गए होंगे which are irrelevant for preparing the cost sheet. So can you guys tell me? Royalty will form part of direct expenses, Meenu. So your answer is incorrect. Divya, very good. It is correct. Non-monetary items will also appear, Meenu. It is incorrect. Capital, very good. It is correct. Hemin. Indirect income, very good. It will not form part of cost sheet. Loans, it will not form part of cost sheet. Interest received will not form part of cost sheet. Debtors will not form part of cost sheet. Very good. Income tax, very good. Cost of machine, very good. Investment, very good. Navneet, share capital, very good. Donation and charity, Prachi Singh, very good. Goodwill written off, Mr. Mujahid, it is correct. Credit sales, nothing to related to cost sheet. Shareholding, nothing related to cost sheet. Anyone else with your opinion and ideas? Discount allowed or discount received? I'll be discussing this part separately. Assets or liability. Discount allowed will not form part of cost sheet. Very good. Assets and liabilities will not form part of cost sheet. Loss on sales will not form part of cost sheet. Jewelry, gold and silver, fines and penalties, balance sheet item, provisions for doubtful debts. It will never form part of cost sheet. Shipping charges will form part of cost sheet. Mr. Mujahid, very good. Bad debts will not form part of cost sheet. Dividend will not form part of cost sheet. Appropriation will not form part of cost sheet. Sales, yes, it will not form part of cost sheet. Very good. Still, yes, it will be a part. Jash Agrawal, gain on sale of assets. Very good. It will not form part of cost sheet. Anyone else with any other ideas or opinion? Interest on FDR. Yes, interest received will never form part of cost sheet. Loss on sale of assets or investment will not form part. I'll be writing also. Don't worry. Just checking out what all you guys have understood. Debentures, underwriting commission. Yes, it will not form part of cost sheet. Very good. Akhila and Mujahid. No, it will form part of cost sheet, Diksha. I'm sorry. Profit on sale of assets and investment, it will not form part. Very good, Josh. Penalties, fines, very good, Ninu. So now let's write down. First point, bad debts. If in question bad debts are given, you have to ignore. It will never form part of cost sheet. Abnormal cost. Abnormal loss or gain. Any sort of abnormal loss or gain will never form part of cost sheet. As few students mentioned, donation will never form part of cost sheet. Profit or loss on sale of assets or investments will never form part of cost sheet. Any sort of fines, actually it is covered under abnormal loss, but still writing it, fines, penalties, demurrage, or any abnormal cost. Interest or dividend received. Any balance sheet items that is I think I've covered all the points. Still, if you guys think that anything else is left out, you can just mention. I'll write it. So bad debts, abnormal loss or gain, donations, profit or loss on sale of assets or investments, fine, penalties, demurrage or any abnormal cost, interest and dividend received, assets and liabilities, that is balance sheet items, income tax, provisions, appropriations, goodwill or preliminary expenses written off. It's a balance sheet item, Divya. Commission, yes. If we are paying commission, it will form part of cost sheet. Yes, commission received, interest, dividend, or commission received. Anyone else with any other opinions? Income tax, be it provision for income tax, advance tax, income tax refund, it will not form part of cost sheet. Appropriation means transfer to various reserves, or we can say proposed dividend. Or transfer to any reserves, transfer to general reserve, transfer to debenture redemption reserve, whatever it is. So any sort of appropriation from profit will not form part. If the commission is received by labor, it means we are paying the labor the commission. So it's a cost to us, so it will form part of cost sheet. Yes, it will form part. We have to make the adjustments of prepaid and outstanding if it is given in the question. Yes, redemption of shares and debentures will never form part of cost sheet. It has nothing to do with cost calculations. Anyone else with any ideas or opinion? Any income will not form. Yes, no income will form part of cost sheet. Anyone else with any other new opinion? Insurance cost, yes, it will form part of cost sheet. If it is insurance on plant and machinery, it will go under factory overhead. Insurance, it is related to any equipment or building of office, it will go under office and administration general. If it is insurance of the sales premise, or we can say delivery vehicles, it will go under selling and distribution. Trade receivables, again, trade receivables, it is a part of balance sheet, so will not be considered receivables or payables. Workman compensation policy, so it's a policy, it's not the amount. Yes, Mithili, it will form part of cost sheet, prepaid expenses or outstanding expenses. If it is given in the question, we have to consider it. It's not provision for, see, employer contribution to provident fund. We can't if it is provision given for employees fund, it will not form part of cost sheet. But yes, if employer contribution to provident fund is given, that will form part of cost sheet. Any sort of provisions, any sort of appropriation will never form part of cost sheet. Anyone else with any other new ideas or opinions? Yes. Medical expenses, if we are providing medical facility to the employees, it will form part of cost sheet under the head direct labor. If it is for the general office staff, it will go under general administration expenses. Again, it's a benefit, be it monetary or non-monetary. If it is given to the workers, it will form part of cost and it will be forming part of cost, cost sheet. Contingent liability यार books में भी नहीं आता है, तो इसमें कहाँ से आएगा? ESOP, yes, if it is provided to the workers, it will form part of salary or direct labor cost and it will form part of due cost sheet. Due to fire or theft, the name fire or theft is due to abnormal reasons. So again, fire or theft, nowhere forms part of cost sheet. Cash discount, very good. Cash discount is a conditional discount. I think you must have read it in material chapter. Cash discount, generally discount जो होता है, that is on purchases. So I have deducted the trade discount while writing the purchase of raw material, but I have ignored cash discount. Cash discount is not to be deducted while calculating the cost of purchase because it's not a discount, it's a conditional discount. You can check my lectures on material costing. I have discussed in detail the difference in trade discount and cash discount with, I have given lots of examples also that why cash discount is not deducted. So cash discount, ignore. You have to ignore cash discount, Prachi Singh. Anyone else? Anyone else with any item which you guys are confused that it will go under factory, office, admin, quality control, research and development? You can post. I'm here to address all your queries. Today, the homework is just to revise what I have discussed. In the coming session, I'll be discussing at least 6 to 7 questions for better understanding. Brokerage means what? Brokerage paid on purchases will be added to the cost of brokerage or commission. If it is paid on purchase of raw material, then it will be added to the cost of raw material. Preliminary expenses will never form part. Shares issued to workers, Miss Diksha, as I said, आप workers को कुछ भी देते हैं, be it monetary, be it non-monetary, it will form part of labor cost and it will form part of prime cost. Anyone else with any other opinion or any other item which you think that you are, not being able to figure out? I'm there to address all your queries. Today is only the concept class. In the next session, I'll be discussing variety of questions. And I assure you, if you memorize the format and if you revise what I have discussed in today's session, trust me, you will find cost sheet as the easiest chapter till now. Gaurav Beswal, as I said, if you are providing food, coffee, tea, beverages to the workers, again, it is a facility that is provided to the workers. So it will form part of cost of labor and it will form part of cost of the product and it will appear in cost sheet. Yes, Navneet, there are certain items that examiner can give you to confuse you guys. So overall, I have covered everything in detail. So these are the items which will never form part of cost sheet. Demurrage charges, again, it's a panel charges. I have written specifically, it will not form part of cost sheet. See, goods lost in transit, it's an abnormal loss. So any sort of abnormal loss will never form part of cost sheet. Thank you so much, Mr. Mujahid. That's okay. Make sure you are regular in the batch. Perquisites, any sort of benefit, facility, or amenities provided to any of the staff will form cost to the company and it will form part of cost sheet. Repairs and maintenance, if it is of the machinery, it will go under factory overhead. Repairs and maintenance of office building or office furniture or office equipments, it will go under general administration. Repairs and maintenance of delivery vehicles or sales office premise, it will go under selling and distribution. Repairs and maintenance of plant, it will go under factory overheads. Finance cost, I'll be discussing in the next session, Bhavani. So enough of discussion on today. Enough of discussion on cost sheet. Make sure you revise what I have discussed in today's class. See, this chapter is easy. For the coming chapters, I'll be taking many more chapters. So very important, guys, do pay attention. Whatever the queries you have, you can speak to me. I'll be putting up many questions in the live session and I want answers from everyone. So make sure those who are watching over YouTube also just try to join over Zoom. You can speak to me, you can post your answers. The more you will interact, the better you will be with the concepts. So this is a very easy chapter, but yes, the remaining chapters, what I'll be taking, I'll be putting up many questions, new questions in the live session, and I'll be asking you guys to post the answer. So make sure those who are watching over Zoom or watching over YouTube or via any other media, try to join over Zoom, speak to me, trust me, you'll feel better. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. See you day after tomorrow with the practical questions on cost sheet. Again, this is the easiest chapter of the syllabus. So no, not much of hard work. So simple homework for you guys. Do revise what I have discussed. That is more than sufficient. So thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Thank you so much, Mathili. Thank you so much, everyone. Yes, Meenu, I'll be taking care of 3 to 4 more chapters. Don't worry. Anyways, thank you so much, everyone. Admin sir, are you there?